Hey y'all, how you doing? Slim Odin here, and look, I'm here just for a few minutes. Well, I say that, but might have to spare me a few minutes. But anyway, I'm here live on the YouTube channel for Ports and Coffee Talk. Even though I'm wearing my Slim Nation hat because of two channels we both have. Just wanted to come on and say hey y'all, and hopefully everybody's doing okay, and to try to continue to, well, I want to thank you, the audience, for watching Pour Some Coffee Talk every Monday morning at 7 a.m. With the variety of guests. And of course, I go co host. I'm Slim Overton, and the co host Leah Drake Stitt and Thomas the Colonel Chapman. And the variety of subjects we cover. Of course, Pour Some Coffee Talk, a lot we talk a lot about politics, even with subjects that are not directly about politics. We bring in politics because it's a little bit of politics in just about everything. But we've had some very interesting guests, former local TV anchors, Barbara, not Barbara, but Bonita Harris, Billingsley Harris, if you remember Bonita Billingsley and Harris now. But she was one of our ladies. We had a Avita Ewer, and we've had the Black Media, I can't remember their full name, but the Black Media Association. We've had representatives from that group on here, and a variety of other people that are professional in their jobs. Uh, as far as bringing Dr. Ernestine Duncan from Norfolk State University School of Psychology, Dr. Coletta Fairfax from the School of Social Work, Evelyn Strong School of Social Work at Norfolk State University, to help us with certain subjects that we've had. And I want to encourage you to go back and look at, we have about 600 plus videos up there. I'm not asking you to watch all 600 of them, but go back and you can see the titles that tell you a little bit about what that particular video is about, and it might be something of interest to you. A lot of those people that we've had on shared some very important and valuable knowledge over the years. And a lot of the knowledge, even though it might be 2 or 3 years old, is still relevant to some of our everyday lives today. So we just excited about what we do. We love what we do. We still need the subscriptions from you all, but we're going to move forward. It's not always about numbers with us. We love to have the numbers, but if we can just reach the people that we do reach, and hopefully it helps them in some kind of way uh, with whatever they might be going through, if they can relate to some of the subjects or some of the information that people share that come on Ports and Coffee Talk. Sometimes it's a little personal, about some health issues they've gone through, and they gracious enough to share that with us and you, the public, that's out there on our YouTube channel. So we're going to be doing more things on our YouTube channel, coming up, popping up like this, and reminding you about what we do there, and bringing on special guests. The last live we had on the YouTube channel was at the Printed Word Bookstore in Churchland in Portsmouth, Virginia. And we've had Terrence Austin and his wife, Terry Austin, on the show before, talking about their bookstore. Terrence is a retired Navy man who still works at for the government in counseling, but he and his wife have a bookstore, and great bookstore. But they have events there. One of the things I like that they have there, or events that I like that they have there, they bring in, they have story time for young children. And that's always exciting because you're exposing these young children to different books or different speakers that come there to speak to them and talk to them about their experience. And even though sometimes you think the young people might not be paying attention, a lot of that is being implanted in. They hear what's going on, even though they might seem bored, but they remember that as they grow up. So the story time with the kids is a great event that happens there at the Printed Word Bookstore. Of course, it is a retail bookstore, so I encourage you to go there, visit there, and buy their books, buy books from them. If they don't have it there, they can order it for you. And some other events we have there. He has another event where we men reading, uh, and it's a few of us now, and hopefully it will grow where we will get together and pick a book and give us time to read it, and then set a date to come into the bookstore on a Saturday morning and have a discussion about the book. And it's always good to get the different perspectives from different men. The basic premise of the book is pretty much the same. We all see the same thing, but it's different chapters in there or different events in the book that we might see a little different way. And it's always good to hear what somebody else sees that we might have missed. And we enjoy doing that. And last weekend we had uh, quite a few men in there, and some brought their younger children with them, and had a discussion about fathers talking about their fathers, and had a few fathers in there that didn't grow up with their father, but later on had a relationship with their father as they were adults. And different men had different experiences with their father, some great, some not so great. But the theme seemed to be that day that most of the men reconciled with their fathers if they had issues with them when they were younger by them not being around or being what they thought was too tough. And, you know, a lot of us felt like our parents were too tough or too demanding, always telling us what to do and making us do things like clean our room. But all of those things helped shape us into the people that we are today. And a lot of us now, after you grow up and look back on what your father, how your father treated you, it was all about love. Some fathers really showed the love physically, and some fathers didn't do that, but they showed it in other ways with their wisdom and just trying to keep us on the right track. So that was interesting, and I hope we do that again and um, have the fathers that are fathers now come in and talk about their fathers and how it influenced them now that they're fathers, and uh, how they treat their children and lessons learned, because you don't automatically know how to be a parent, but those things that you pull from your parents is always a great help in helping you decide how you will raise your children. The times are different, so you have to use different methods. It's not so much the whooping, uh, like some of us in generations that was a main thing, and we survived that. But it's uh, more, more of a different kind of discipline nowadays, because we know a little bit more about how some things can affect a child later on in life. So some things we have to refrain from, or you really have to just know your child. But hopefully we'll do that again. I think we can do it again. And Mother's Day is coming up. Okay, Mother's Day is in May every year. So uh, hopefully, I wish we had done this and had the men talking about their mothers. But it's always a good time to talk about your mother. So we can do it even after Mother's Day pass. Have men get together and talk about their mothers, and then maybe have another session where we talk about our wives or our spouse, and how we should treat the women in our lives, or women in general, and mistakes some of us have probably made in our younger days, or even as we got older. It's never too late to learn how to be a better person, to treat someone better. So it's a great thing just having men getting together, and a lot of organizations or churches are doing this. It just goes under the radar sometimes. Not everybody knows about it, but men that do this, I think it's really a concerted effort by the men to really understand themselves, understand the women in their life, and understand uh, the actions of their fathers when they were growing up. And just in general, it's therapeutic to have those discussions with other men. We tend to hold back on certain things, and sports, and talking about women and other things like that will dominate our conversation, which, that's going to always be part of our conversation. But, we should broaden our discussions on different subjects, and let other men and let people know how we feel. And we always ask before we film it, sometimes it's live, sometimes recorded, does anybody have any objections to us filming it? Because in this last session, excuse me, all the men agreed that they had no problem with us filming it, because, you know, as it helps us to have the conversation, it helps other people to watch men have conversations, and maybe it will encourage them to do the same. You never should go around and be hold things in, because it can affect your mental stability. Not talking it out with someone, and that's always the best solutions, even uh, before you want to get physical with someone because of a disagreement. It's always best to try to find a way to talk it out, because it usually ends a lot better than it does if you resort to physical contact. You know, so, but that's a part of our growth. Sometimes when we're younger, we're quick to go to that physical contact because we can. Sometimes when you're older, we might think we can, but you could hurt a lot more by doing a lot less trying to be physical. So it's more advantageous for us to just try to talk things out. So when men talk, yeah, I think, and women, because at the Printed Word bookstore, Terry Austin, she has her sessions with women where they get together and talk. And sometimes, we can get together and men and women can talk. But a lot of times it's good to just have the men talk their things out, and the women talk their things out, because they understand it. And those occasions when men and women talk, it should be just for, not just for, but for, uh, the main idea behind that would be to help us understand each other better. It's going to always be some misunderstanding between men and women, because we are different. We're different. We are different physically. We think differently, and but just kind of understanding the difference between us kind of helps us communicate or relate better to the opposite sex. So, you know, especially if we want to make sure that we show respect. I think it all starts there: respect for each other, and uh, you know that's what it's all about. So again, thanks everybody for watching, and please continue to watch Portsmouth Coffee Talk every Monday morning at every Monday morning at 7 a.m. And the Slim Nation, we might pop up anytime. I've had a lot of great guests the last couple of weeks, and over the years, I think I have about 100 and some videos, and trying to build that channel as well. But the Slim Nations One-on-Ones podcast gives me an opportunity to have that one-on-one conversation, which sometimes gets a little deeper than than what we might do on Portsmouth Coffee Talk, because you have multiple hosts on Portsmouth Coffee Talk sometimes, and and everybody has deserves a little bit of time to talk, and we don't have that opportunity every time to get as deep uh, with as I do when I have the one-on-ones uh, on the Slim Nations one-on-ones podcast. So I like to do that and really uh, find out how the guests, what makes the guests tick, and what they're all about, as well as sharing information about what they're doing today. A lot of us meet people on our job, or meet people as we are grown, and we don't know that person when they were growing up, and some of the things they might have faced or gone through that shaped them into who they are today, or might explain why they some of their actions as a grown person, just knowing what they went through as uh, as a real youngster, and the kind of environment they might have been exposed to early on. And then some people that had privileged lives. Uh, there are issues there as well. Even though some people that might not think so. Privilege uh, gives you the opportunity to do some things that not everybody does, have things that not everybody has, but problems come with that as well. And we've seen people really struggle that are in those positions. So just having that common conversation, and you find out that we all alike, is we just have different environments, or we grew up in different environments, but we're pretty much the same uh, when it gets to a certain point. So continue to watch us, and please, you can always suggest different subjects that we can cover on Portsmouth Coffee Talk. We try to be relevant as far as dealing with the issues of today and some of yesterday, but we try to look towards the future, and have conversations that are solution driven, that we can somehow have the conversation about what is wrong, what should be done, mistakes that have been made, but what kind of solutions can we put forward to kind of correct that or make a difference. Of course, one way to make a difference anytime is voting. And a lot of people that have been discouraged from that, I think hopefully a lot of them will see now the consequences of not voting at all. We had a lot of people that didn't vote that probably could have changed the outcome, if that's what you wanted, the outcome of this last election. But we had a lot of people that voted for the present administration. So, that's just the American democratic way. But when we have so many people that don't vote, you don't get the true sense of how the majority of the people really feel, or what they really want, if you just have uh, a percentage of people voting, especially locally. That's where we really hurt as far as the percentage of voting. People voting 15 and 20% on the local level is really detrimental to the success of any locality, because you're not getting the true pulse of the majority of the people in your locality. You get the true complaints from the majority of people, but if those majority of people don't vote, those complaints go unheard, or you get what you don't vote for. So we have to be better, and uh, just getting out there and voting, and seeing for yourself what kind of changes can be made, just getting out there and exercising your right to vote. I know some people feel like the people that are advocates for voting and voting rights, just beat that drum all the time, but it should be. And we shouldn't have to beat the drum as loud as we do, because people should realize, especially when you get to a certain age. That's why the age to vote is at an age where you should be uh, adult enough to realize how important it is, and not be the person that sits home not thinking that will make a difference. Like I said, if you just open your eyes and look around and be woke, you can see what your non-voting, or I'll put it this way, uneducated votes will do if you just, you know, don't take it as seriously as it should be. We are suffering now. Hopefully, it will get better, but I believe it won't get better until we make sure we exercise our vote in a majority way. You know, getting those percentage of voters going to the polls up beyond 50%. Beyond 50%. 50% would be really nice compared to what we've been doing the last couple of years. But we got here in Virginia, we vote every year. So every delegate is up for reelection, and I think the whole General Assembly is up for well, I know the delegates are. And of course, the governorship is up, lieutenant governor, attorney general, and the primary is coming up for the Democrats as far as the lieutenant governor and the attorney general. The governors, they are set. So that's going to happen in November. And whoever wins in November will make history here in the state of Virginia. It'll be the first woman ever elected as governor of Virginia, because the two candidates running, Republican and Democrat, are women. So we either going to have the first woman in general or the first black woman as the mayor of the state of Virginia. So make sure you pay attention now, watch what the candidates say, and most of these candidates have already been in office, so they have a record that you can check and make sure and see how they voted on issues that might be important to you. You just can't rubber stamp candidates because you like them, or you like the way they look, or you like the way their name sounds. You have to make sure that they have been voting your interest if they've been there already. And the new candidates, you just have to pay more attention to them, because, you know, in many cases, you'll be taking a chance on them that they'll do what they say that they're going to do once they get in. And a lot of times you can tell the sincerity of someone. Not always, because there's no guarantee once they are elected that, you know, but you would hope that if you do enough research on the person and see how consistent they are on what they're telling you they stand for and what they will do for us as their constituents, as they go for our votes. So just make sure you pay attention, and if you're not into watching a lot of politics, just make sure you talk to someone that is into politics and keeping up, that you trust if you have questions about certain candidates. That's one way you can do it. Just find someone that you know is heavily or really involved in keeping up with what's going on in politics, and that can at least give you information that might help you make a very informed decision when you go to the polls. The main thing is going to the polls, making sure you vote. And nowadays we can vote early. You know, once the early voting starts for the November, I think that starts after the summer. So it's no excuse. You know, sometimes if you wait until election day on November, you never know what might come up. You might be in the hospital. You might, something might come up to keep you from voting from on that particular day. So once you have gathered all the information, just make sure you get out there and go vote early. Anyway, I didn't mean to go political on you, but I think it's the more we do this, the better off we are in trying to maybe not pull your arm, but maybe convince you just to pay more attention and to realize how important your vote is. Your one vote. You know, you don't get to those million votes without your one vote. Your one vote could be that vote that keeps it from being a million votes or being, whatever it takes to get someone in office. Okay, thanks everybody, and everybody take care. And we're going to end this stream, and we'll talk to you soon. And make sure you please give us suggestions on show topics for the Portsmouth Coffee Talk, and those who might want to talk to me on a one-on-one basis on the Slim Nations One-on-Ones podcast, to talk about your business, to talk about what you're doing, to talk about some issues that you've overcome, health issues that you've gone through and overcome. They are always great stories, and other things that you might have gotten in trouble or had some vices that you have overcome, and just talking about it can help others, that might identify with whatever you have to say. So contact me. My email is dallas@gmail.com. DALL at gmail.com. Or you can just put a comment right here on the YouTube to me about Portsmouth Coffee Talk or the Slim Nation. And remember, I forgot that little saying I wanted to say, but I put it on my Facebook page today. But anyway, I do remember this: to be aware, be informed, and most of all, be involved. That's the way of the world. Take care. We'll see you next time.